it may look suspicious that I'm lurking on a forest path. Just stood there, apparently doing nothing. But I am looking for something. I'm looking for dangly leaves. These aren't the trees that I want to be looking for dangly leaves on. These are red oaks. I've stood here because they're quite attractive in their autumn splendour. It's goat sallows that I'm looking for dangly leaves on, because those dangly leaves can be a sign of the caterpillar that I'm looking for today. Now, long-term viewers to this channel will probably have an idea, or at least an inkling, that I'm looking for the caterpillar of the purple emperor. It's something I tried last year. Found a couple of dangly leaves, but not the right dangly leaves. There's a lot more to dangly leaves than what you might think. And in particular, I need dangly leaves that are held by a silken thread, not spider silken thread either. It needs to be that of the caterpillar, of the purple emperor's caterpillar. So it's a walk around here. It is quite windy today, so I'm picking the most sheltered trees that are taking the brunt of the breeze today, and hopefully we may get a little goat sallow leaf that's twirling away and can't dislodge itself and fall to the ground. It may seem to be a daunting task, a fruitless or pointless task, but it isn't. When a leaf's dangling, even amongst the movement of the rest of the leaves on this particular goat sallow, dangly leaves are quite easy to spot. And even though the rest of the tree isn't moving, well, there's two bushes here, even though they aren't moving now, if there was a dangly leaf here, it would still be twirling. There's one here low down, but that's not the kind of dangly leaf that I'm looking for. And it's this one in the centre here. There's no sign. Sometimes the caterpillars can sit in them for a bit, but that's risking it because heavy rain could knock this off. But that's what you're looking for, that motion. But there's no sign of feeding. No sign of feeding on nearby leaves. I'm just looking in the joints, but I don't think that this is even attached by silk anyway. Not what we're looking for, I'm afraid. We've got a bit of sunshine coming, and with that sunshine there's a bit of warmth actually. Still pleasantly warm in the sun if you get sheltered from this nagging breeze. I've just checked a couple of goat sallows and they're still in full green leaf with very little yellow into any of those leaves, so they're not really suitable, but some will be, and I'm hoping if I walk along here to the area around the black pool there may well be some more goat sallow that are in a more advanced state of leaf fall. Now this time of year it provides a great opportunity to try and find purple emperor larvae. Over winter, purple emperor larvae tuck themselves away, usually at the side of a bud or in the joint of two small branches, and they're very, very hard to find. Nick and Samantha Brownlee were successful in finding 3 larvae, the first 3 of this summer and autumn period actually. Only one egg was found by myself in July. Such has been a poor year for purple emperors, but at least we now have 3 locations for third instar larvae. I'm hoping to try and find 1 or 2 in Clipston Old Quarter today, but the 3 that Nick and Sam found yesterday were found by looking for those leaves dangling but remaining fixed to the plant by the strands of silk. And then in a couple of instances I believe Nick had to climb the trees in order to locate the larvae, which are always very close or within a couple of feet of the dangly leaf. The dangly leaf is there because the larvae spend much time resting on a favoured leaf, and each time they go off to feed on another leaf, they leave behind them a trail of silk, and it's that silk which keeps the leaf attached. And that's what we're looking for. But what a glorious vista this is. Beautiful. Well, this was always the tree that was called the mushroom tree because the appearance of its canopy is very reminiscent of a mushroom, but it's a recent victim, probably. I can't say of the storms because we never got the storms here in Nottinghamshire, but it may well be the amount of rain which has contributed to a large portion of this tree coming down or snapping off. This is the problem with haloing, removing those trees that protect these old ancient oaks. This is one that it had its top ripped out many years ago, and it's all regrowth. As you can see a strip of bark running up the right hand side of the trunk, and that bark eventually becomes branches, but they've just become top heavy. They do put on, in the majority of instances, a lot of growth when triggered to, but ultimately it leads to the downfall. Too much top growth, increased weight, open to the wind, the trees snap off. I'm having no success at all. Problem being, trees still largely in green leaf here. This is the tree that had 4 larvae on, all 4 disappearing. I think it was 4, was it 5? 4. They all disappeared as soon as they got into L5, fifth instar. And yet this tree had been checked numerous times. So the best place I really need a dangly leaf is probably anything 8 to 12 feet off the ground. There is nothing that I can see on here at the moment. Now we have a dangly leaf, but don't get excited because this is just a naturally occurring dangly leaf. It's still being held on just by the leaf petiole. There's no sign of any silk. And the other reason why I know this is just normal and not larval is that If a purple emperor larva had been on here, there would be a pad of silk where my thumb is, and probably where my thumb is would be the only bit of leaf there would be. The rest would be eaten, or the majority of it would be. They do make a lot of silk to purple emperor larvas. In fact, I've seen on some old leaves on this sallow the silk pads left over from those L4 and L5 larvae from the spring. So our quest for a dangly leaf associated with a purple emperor caterpillar continues. Now, I was just beginning to give up hope, and unfortunately hope is all I've got, because this is too far out of my reach. But you may well be able to see that more or less just slightly above centre of this shot there is a green leaf which is dangling and which is loose. The interesting thing and promising thing about this is that there are some feeding signs near the tip of that leaf, and there's also very purple emperor larva feeding like signs of a leaf just to the left of the one that is dangling. Almost, it's the last leaf on that little twig, and there's some feeding damage at the start of the leaf where the leaf petiole is. From here it looks very promising, but say it's out of reach. But that's something that I need to try and come back and have a look at. But the trouble is, there's still so many green leaves on these trees, but that's unusual in dangling while it is still green. There may well be a larva somewhere either tucked up against the buds of next year, or just further somewhere along that branch in the joint of another branch. Checking all round the trees that I've visited, but probably most success I would expect to come from sides of the tree which take some shade, either the northerly side or northeasterly side. But despite a lot of searching today, no sign of any number of dangly leaves, just that last one that I was looking at. That's the most promising and only potential dangly leaf of the correct nature that I've seen. And I will keep having a look at the trees as I start to head my way back to the car now, because another hour the sun will be on its way down and I'm getting hungry and thirsty. But I think we need to give it a little bit longer, another week or so, let these leaves start to golden up a little bit more and start to drop off. As long as we don't get no storms or really heavy rain, there's every chance. Purple emperor larvae are obviously out and about. We just need to find them.